Pulse comes to you live from our studio here in Kukumlimle, where we are the home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. From the Joy Sports team, Gary Al Smith joins me with what I have a feeling might be alarming news from South Africa.
Well, it's just in the continuation of what they've been saying since Sunday, that they are basically imputing and then brief their nation on what they have done. They did this obviously to inspire public confidence in the fact that they are not letting this go, and also to communicate to the rest of the world that they would not, as it were, take it lying down. So today they had a press conference this morning. They had a very high-powered delegation behind the seats. The president of the South African Football Association, Danny Jordan, who is also well known as the man who led them to bid for the World Cup and was the CEO of the World Cup as well. They had the coach of the national team, Hugo Bruce, seated there. They had a defender whose movement, putting it delicately, his movement was interpreted by the ref to have been a push on Daniel Amati. Of them had a role to play, and quite clearly it was thought through and choreographed. The South African, the FA president started by, giving the opening shots. He said essentially that he could prove that there were betting patterns that went off. I see how your eyebrows are going up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did say that. That he could prove that betting patterns went up at certain moments during the game when major calls were being made. So that was the first thing he said. He also mentioned that the match was so important to Ghana that if Ghana had lost the match, the president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, would have been in trouble, and that there would have been socio-economic issues in that. Yes, the Confederation of African Football Presidents, that's the CAF president, is South African. That's Patrice Motsepe.
That's the truth.
He said they did not use him, but they called him to assist them
in preparing for the press conference.
In preparing for the press conference and laying their claims to FIFA. So he said, "Oh, we are not going to use him, but of course we called him to assist us in this regard as well." So these were some of the things that the SAFA president made as well. Now, for the independent referee who was there, he said he had spent 5 hours and 17 minutes analyzing the game. South African media stopped everything they were doing today and broadcast this. And he said that his independent conclusions show that 90.9% of incorrect decisions went against one team, that is the South African team. He said that 80-something% of the decisions in the first half went against South Africa. And then he imputed that the damage from the ref was mostly done in the first half. And so when the job was done, the second half was just a mere formality. The South African coach also said that within the first 15 minutes of the game, he told his assistant coach that we were going to lose this match, that South Africa were going to lose this match, because it was quite clear that the ref was not going to do anything to. We needed this to boost our national psyche, national morale. And the defender who was involved also spoke, and he said that the opportunity to get a good result was taken away from them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Listen, Gary, we need to get deeper into this, but I'm told that following the reading of the budget in Parliament, the minority side of the House is holding a press conference. Let's join them now, get the details, and come back. Right, we'll be getting more from Parliament shortly. Stay with the Pulse for that. But back to that football story. South Africa accusing Ghana of match fixing. In the recent, we're finding out what South Africa has been saying about Ghana and that game. So a quick recap.
In the middle of it all is the ref, who is from Senegal. Most of the blame is at his doorstep. They claim that certain persons in Ghana had even predicted that there will be as many as 2 penalties, before the game. And by that, there were a couple of tweets before the game where people were just goofing around that, we'll get a penalty and all that. And they included that as part of their evidence also. They've also said that the Senegalese ref should be banned or fined or whatever it is if he had. But we have a summary of what happened in that press conference from the Joy Sports desk.
To see whether, in his view, was there a deliberate miss or wrong application of the laws of the game in this particular match. We want to demonstrate, we ask him to demonstrate the point by analyzing the referee's decision in that is not in line with the laws of the game.
The football governing body in South Africa made an official complaint to FIFA on Tuesday requesting a replay of their last group stage World Cup qualifier against the Black Stars. According to President of the South African Football Association, Danny Jordan, investigations show that there were spikes in betting prior to the award of a penalty which ensured Ghana qualified.
According to them, has put a mistaken favourite and put the other betting there. So it is a fact that there was bet on the match. Now, you see, what we want FIFA to investigate also, because what happens in betting, if I know spike just before the penalty is given, and if that happens, that the betting spikes coincide with the decision, then you know. But how is it that there's a betting spike just before a major decision is taken, and therefore people bet, so they knew when to bet?
Qualifiers. But the outcome of the result meant that the Black Stars topped the group, having scored more goals than the 2010 World Cup host. Claims are that the referee awarded about 89% of decisions which were wrong against South Africa, and they have requested
the laws of the game in this particular match. We want to demonstrate, we ask him to demonstrate the point by analyzing the referee's decision. In other words, did the referee deliberately or wrongfully give a red card, give a yellow card, give a penalty, give a decision that is not in line with the laws of the game? During the match, did the referee deliberately neglect to take decisions even when it was clear to the
demanding a full footage of the match to help in their investigations of the allegations leveled by the South African Football Association.
Wow, yeah. So that happened.
Oh, yeah, so that happens. I mean, you saw him, giving slides, a presentation to show how the betting patterns. So we can imagine that they are going to give all this evidence to FIFA. Like I said, they had about 4 other people, apart from the South African Football Association president, speaking there, including a former referee, a very respected former referee, who said he spent more than 5 hours analyzing the South Africa. 25 out of 38. That's a lot, And he gave other, according to him. But of course, it will be given to FIFA. FIFA have requested footage from Ghana, official match footage from Ghana, so that they can make an independent assessment. The South Africans say FIFA has not responded to them yet, but they have filed their complaint. And so that is that about that.
Gary, I'm full of questions, but before we get to those, let's hear from the player, the South African player at the center of this.
So they pulled Daniel Amati to 4, and South Africa say he did not.
The one who the referee says pulled.
Well, Ghanaians and the ref, and who South Africans and himself believe did not do that. So
let's have a look. Quite a case to challenge the results of the game they played with the Black Stars a few days ago in Cape Coast.
So essentially what they want is they want to build a case tight enough to force a replay on neutral ground. Right. So they want a replay and they want it on neutral grounds. Yes.
Now let's look at the practicality of this.
Yeah.
CAF-istically, what can we expect to be the most likely response from CAF to this?
This is a FIFA qualifier.
Oh, sorry.
So it will go to FIFA.
Yes.
Yes, but as CAF president, and again, those who understand the politics, this current CAF president and the FIFA president are BFFs.
Right.
They lend their private jets to each other. That level
nice.
of, you know what I mean?
Like you and me.
We asked him at the press conference if we should expect fairness in this very qualifier, considering that. And he said he has nothing to, you know. And we also asked him about his very cozy relationship with the FIFA president. One of the journalists asked him that, doesn't that cozy relationship, you know, impute that he would want your country, or you can say, hey, Gianni, do something and let me, my people come to the World Cup, because we've not been there since 2010. And you know what the answer he gave? He said to the journalist, I don't know if you know me, but I don't need anybody's money. You know, and power behind them. And that is why a lot of Ghanaians are still sore at Kwesi Nyantakyi not being that high.
Yeah.
Because in the history of football, from our history when Kwame Nkrumah was doing his whole Pan-Africanism, he knew football was a big deal and he needed to use football. And he knew we needed our people there.
Yeah.
So he helped Ohene-Jan to go all the way to the tops. Whether you can prove it or not, Ghana had our most successful spell.
In a long
The more
time.
he rose, the more we. Egypt have always said that they've not been doing well in the 2010s because they didn't have people at the top level. Algeria are doing well right now. They have a few people at it. So these things work, especially in football. So we now, what do we have to do? Now the Ghana Football Association, GFA have only spoken through their spokesperson once. He spoke to JoyNews in Cape Coast. And he said that he thought the ref was fair and he doesn't think the thing will amount to anything. Now the South Africans have spoken. I don't know what the GFA's advisors will say, whether they have to reply officially to say anything. But I would say to the GFA, just put out a statement to say that we have taken notice of what the South Africans are saying. We have taken notice of their allegations. We will make no further comment at this. The battle is not being fought in the public opinion. You know, it is being fought at a certain place. So if I were the GFA, I'll get my best lawyers, my best evidence to go and fight the case where it matters, not in the court of public opinion. And the final thing I would say, before the 2018 World Cup, we lost the opportunity to qualify for the World Cup in the 93rd minute. The goal was not taken. This is in 2017. The goal was not taken because just when we scored the goal, the ref, while we were celebrating, the ref whistled and said that it was full time. And the guy said, no, it was in play. You should have allowed the goal. This ref was a South African ref. And we appealed. The GFA appealed that, but
it didn't go away.
You know, we just have to make sure that we fight the battle on all fronts.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, look, Gary, I wish you wouldn't leave because I still have questions. I know that there are many of the most bitter rivalries in football can be traced back to an accusation of cheating.
Yeah.
And so there is a lot to at the moment. So we need to analyze that as well. But I'm told that there is even more activity in Parliament following the reading of the 2022 budget by the Finance Minister. And we can go there now to hear from Alexander Afenyo-Markin, who is the Deputy Majority Leader. He's speaking to a press conference right now.